You're listening to the BackPorchTalk Podcast. Danny and Jason had many discussions and debates on the back porch while making pivotal investment moves with assets. That's right, with trading cards. They welcome you to the back porch and right into those discussions about current sports news with a fresh and unique twist. So come on and join us. Welcome to the Back Porch Talk Podcast. I'm your co-host, Jason.
Your co-host, Danny.
Fans, we have a loaded show for you today. NBA playoffs and the NFL draft. Need I say more? Before we get started, go ahead and go ahead and subscribe to the channel. You know how the algorithms do. We need the algorithms to algorithm. First, Danny, right into the NBA playoffs, and where got some bad news with regards to Milwaukee Bucks guard Damian Lillard. Pulled up lame in the first quarter, game 4 against the Pacers last night. Come to find out, he has a torn left Achilles tendon. So not only is he out for this season, maybe out all of next season, definitely the majority of next season. And so this, in a sense, may fast track the Bucks to doing a few things, and one of those being trading away Giannis. At this juncture, Danny, I don't know where the Bucks can go from here. I've been wrestling with this throughout the day. Even last night, after watching it, I didn't even watch the second half, Danny. I turned it off. I already knew what time it was. The players, I think at halftime, their minds just weren't really into the game, quite honestly. What I've been wrestling with is, do you keep Giannis or do you trade Giannis?
Mm-hmm.
And my mind went like, you keep Giannis because you need to put butts in a seat. But then I started to think, I was like, is this team even going to be competitive with Giannis? Keep in mind, Giannis is putting up some historic numbers.
Yes, he.
And still losing.
Yep.
And so, Danny, I just wanted to say and talk about, in a sense, real quickly, the Bucks salary payroll here. And this is according to Basketball Reference, where you have Damian Lillard going next year's payroll, $54 million. Player option at the 26-27 year of $58 million. Giannis obviously has signed the extension. He's good until the player option of the 27-28 season. Then you have Kyle Kuzma, who is on the books until the 26-27 season. After that season, only free agents you have, basically, you have Brook potentially coming off here. At this juncture, Danny, with Brook, with his age and everything, I would just let Brook go. That's $23 million.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Portis, he has a player option at $13.4 million. I think before Dame's injury, I think Bobby was up in the air for me to cash in on that player option. I think after the Dame injury, he's gone. Pat Connaughton has a $9 million player option. He's going to cash in on that player option. Kevin Porter has a $2.5 million player option. Kevin Porter's gone, man. AJ Green is obviously on the books here until the end of next season. Jericho Sims, he's no longer going to be on the books. Taurean Prince, he's gone. Gary Trent, he's going to be gone. And Jericho, Taurean, and Gary, in my opinion, were going to be gone pre-Dame injury. And I definitely think they're going to be gone after injury. And then on the books, you have remaining Andre Jackson Jr. and Chris Livingston and Tyler Smith. They're still on the books. That's the Bucks salary and roster. Now, I don't know how this works, the disabled player exception, Danny, and it's for teams with those with some players who are going to be injured or who are injured and going to miss a good portion of the season. I think the Bucks will fall under that category for next year. And my understanding of it is that I'm just going to read from doing a quick Google search. When a team believes a player is likely out for the season due to an injury, they can apply to the NBA for a disabled player exception. The NBA designated doctor or the league's fitness to play panel determines if the injury is substantial enough for that designation. Furthermore, here it talks about hit to the salary cap. I think at the 50%, the team could get a player up to 50% of the injured player's salary.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Bucks just needs to ask Giannis, do you want to stay or do you want to go at the end of the season? I think it would have been a tougher call had Dame not got injured. The Bucks aren't going to be competitive. So I have a whole lot more to say, but what say you, Danny, about this situation?
Yeah, Jay, the injury was unfortunate. And as soon as I saw when he grabbed his back of his leg, I'm like, that's an Achilles. And Dame is not a young guy either.
Mm-hmm.
Then you look at the ramifications from the future standpoint. Honestly, I think they can weather the storm if they were able to get an exception. If Giannis were to stay, I think players would want to still come to Milwaukee because of Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
But it's on Giannis, and you know he's been vocal these last couple of years, and it's gotten the Bucks in a pickle, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
These last couple of years, and from a GM perspective, I'll call it that, where Giannis has influenced some decisions, rumored to influence some decisions from a coaching perspective and personnel perspective. He may follow suit and, request them go out and get somebody else for him to stay, or, give him an ultimatum, I guess is what I'm getting at. It would be obviously a huge loss from the Milwaukee standpoint, because you're going back to like the 90s ball.
Yeah. Yep.
And you haven't had that. I would even say early 2000 or 90s, before Ray Allen and Big Dog and them came in. And you had that little spurt with Brandon Jennings and Bogut. And then there's been Giannis.
But to your point though, the individuals, the players that you just mentioned, those were all at least first rounders.
Mm-hmm.
Keep in mind the Bucks don't have like first round picks.
I know that there's a lot to this.
And
yes,
so
it's very complicated.
The Bucks can't even draft and develop.
No,
they can't draft.
Depending on what happens in their next game, right? Because it's not over yet. Technically, they still have a chance to win a series. I know it looks dire, but once they're to that point, this injury really expedites, I think, the Giannis decision.
It does. It does, because keep in mind, this was the number one offensive tandem in the league when it comes to scoring points.
Yep. This offseason is going to be one to remember, because it could be a very impactful offseason where they could put them behind a number of years. And from a fan standpoint, having Giannis there, people are going to go see Giannis no matter what.
No matter what.
So the ownership, do they fall into that, or they just say, we'll just ride it out with Giannis and try to put something around him just to be competitive to sell tickets? So there's a lot there to unpack, but we'll see.
There's a lot there, Danny. There's a lot there. And think about a small market team, the perception now of small markets and the predicament a small market is in.
Yep.
And we have nobody to blame but the front office. John Horst got an extension, a multi-year extension a few days ago. John Horst is the one who traded. And give him credit, he traded for Drew Holiday. He made some other significant trades to build a championship team. But just as he traded for Drew Holiday, he traded away Drew Holiday. And that's when we got Dame. Coaching moves, things of that nature. I think we keep Doc. We're still paying Adrian Griffith for his multi-year deal. If you get rid of Doc, you're paying two coaches in
Mm-hmm.
essence, paying a third coach because whoever comes in, you got to pay them.
And
So,
Jay, does Doc step down if Giannis gets traded?
ooh,
Does he step away? Because
he didn't sign up for it.
he signed up for Giannis. Let's be real.
Signed up for Giannis and Dame. He
Yeah,
signed up for that combination, and now they're
yeah,
gone.
yep. So does he just step down and say, I ain't dealing with this? I'm not going through a 21 and 61 season or 31 and 51, whatever you want to call it. Because if Giannis leaves, that's what they'll be depending on what they bring back though, too. Because if they do trade, it's gonna have to be a significant trade package for the Bucks to trade Giannis. And as they
Here,
should, because he's still in his prime.
here's the thing, Danny. Let me ask you this: Do you, if you don't trade Giannis, what would you predict the record would be? Because you just mentioned a 20-something and 30-something season. Ain't gonna be that much better with Giannis.
I think they'll be above 500.
With Giannis,
Mm-hmm. It may be like 42 and 40. It all depends on who they. It all depends on this Dame, like you mentioned earlier in the show, the exception. Do they get some type of relief where they can bring somebody in as a body? Because I think, like if you look at Porter Jr., he has his ups and downs, but he is a tough player as long as his head's on straight.
as long as his head's on straight.
Yeah, and you know Bobby,
I think
which
Bobby's gone.
but depending on what they bring back, he may stay.
I think you know what, man. I think Bobby. I think those players they know what time it is, man. I think Bobby's gone because I think he's gonna want a long-term deal,
Yeah, that's true.
and I think he's gonna be like, I'm good.
Hmm.
I had my run here in Milwaukee. Seeing Milton get shipped out.
Yep. And Bobby
Uh,
was a part of those rumors too,
yeah,
because we all thought, that was when we thought back in the trade deadline. It was Middleton and Bobby.
yeah, and so I think pre-injury, like I said, Bobby to me was kind of up in the air pre-injury.
Hmm.
After injury, I think Bobby's like, I'm good.
Hmm. But you never know.
You never know. You never know.
Yeah.
Bucks are in a predicament, man. And I think we're gonna find out sooner than later
Hmm.
because the NBA draft is, going to be upon us. And the Bucks need some young legs. Now let's just say the Bucks trade Giannis. I mean, is that what would you say? You get like what, four first rounders, but here again, the first rounders, they're not consecutive
Yep.
years. They break it up every other
Hmm.
year. We would get a first rounder this year. You free up some cap room and you get some bodies in place, but you're not going to get Giannis.
No, that's it. Like I said, it have to be a haul, and they can't get got like the Mavs got.
This would be
Where
different. This would be different.
yeah.
And I think the Bucks have to be careful. Horst has to be careful because since Giannis is so beloved in Milwaukee
Hmm.
and he brought a championship, and I think that part's different. He brought a championship.
Hmm. And Luke almost did too.
Yeah.
But you gotta look at the financial impact of him being traded is you can you can't put an amount on it. Jersey
Not
sales,
only on court but off court.
yes. Community impact,
Hmm.
global impact.
Yes.
He's a global icon that's in Milwaukee. You can't put a dollar amount on that, and that's where, yeah, if you were to trade him, man, like I said, those ticket sales will go plummet.
It's going to plummet.
Yeah, and you're gonna
Not
be
unless
back
that
to where you
team,
were when it was the dark days.
not unless the team wins.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's all Milwaukee wants is a winner. But
Well,
it'll be an impact for sure though with Giannis gone.
I think things would be different too if Kuzma was playing a lot better than what he is to weather the storm. To your point, weather the storm.
Yep.
I think if Kyle Kuzma was playing up to par like a Middleton,
Mm-hmm.
but younger legs, I think, they'll be like, okay, we can weather the storm here, but I don't think people are feeling like that because of Kuzma's play right now. Bucks just have done a terrible job of drafting too. Beauchamp, there was some promise there, but never materialized. This is going to be an interesting offseason. Right now, if you would have asked me right now, last night I was like, Giannis would stay. Now I'm thinking Giannis would go. Now, Danny, on to the NFL, where big things happened in Green Bay this past weekend with the NFL draft actually occurring. And just a whole lot to say about this NFL draft, man. The numbers of attendance was just through the roof. Just a lot of storylines. Cam Ward goes number one to the Tennessee Titans. The storyline predominantly throughout the weekend was that of Shedeur Sanders actually dropping to the fifth round at the 144th pick by the Cleveland Browns.
Mm-hmm.
And his projection was definitely in the first round. He slides to the fifth round. And say what you want for or the reasons and why he slid the way he did, whether it was because of prime or the way he interviewed, the lack of interview, the fact that he did not participate mostly in the NFL Combine, but he did have his own pro day in Colorado, like a lot of quarterbacks in the past have done. They skip the Combine to throw to their own receivers. I absolutely hated the media, keep ragging on, oh, he didn't participate in the pre-draft process. And he did the pro day. Don't y'all have film on his play? Did he interview well? There's some rumors that he did not. His dad said basically there's some teams that they don't want to play for. Eli Manning said that. Archie Manning said that. So I don't know, man. And was Shedeur Sanders confident in his own ability? Yes. Is that a problem? No. Should that be a ding against him in his draft? No. Would I want my quarterback to have confidence in themselves? Absolutely. Would I want my quarterback to have their own filming? There'll be some rules and some boundaries set.
Yep.
Regarding that. In no way do I want to discourage anybody from, getting their money or doing what they love to do. But there's going to be some boundaries around that. What say you, Danny, about the NFL draft and the Shedeur Sanders slide?
On the Shedeur Sanders front, any quarterback in these last few years, it's not just the quarterbacks. There's other positions too that skip all the pomp and circumstance of, going through the drills and all that. It was a point to, I think it was more pointed towards Dion and Coach Prime than anything. When looking at this and how this all went down, because Dion was, he's very protective of his son. And he was saying, here's some situations, Cleveland being one of them, that he said he didn't feel comfortable, with his son going there. And I think that was part of this. And it was, all in all, he got picked. Some of the quarterbacks that got selected in front of him, we've seen on college, football Saturdays, and I didn't see it. I didn't see them being better than him. But with anything, if you go in with a certain way about you in an interview, and if they're going to use that as an excuse against you, I don't know. It's hard to say. We weren't there. To see the Steelers, the Raiders, these teams that actually need a quarterback pass on him, not once, not twice, like 4 times.
4 times, yeah.
I'm like, I just didn't understand and I'm waiting to hear what they have to say about this because there hasn't been really anything like Tom Brady, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was dapping him up. You remember at the games? I
Mm-hmm.
forgot what game they're at. It was an NBA game or something, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, dapping him up and all that, and the Raiders, Geno Smith is not Randall Cunningham.
But
So
but Gino gets you to the playoffs though.
my point is though, why not bring in Shador because Geno Smith is older.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let Geno could be a great mentor. You got Pete Carroll there for Pete Carroll's what 72. He's not
Mm-hmm.
going to be there for the long haul.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Shador learning how to play the game under a pro system with Pete Carroll as a coach who's been there. And Geno, like I said, Geno, he's very volatile. So there could have been an opportunity for Shador to come in and actually play some games. Now he's in the quarterback room with four other quarterbacks, and you don't even know what's going to happen. So I just didn't make sense from the Raiders standpoint, and then the Steelers too. What are we doing?
What were we doing, Steelers? With not only that, Danny. Here's the interesting thing of it. Somebody brought this to attention. Who had the number 2 pick initially? It's the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
So they traded back. Jacksonville trades up to the number 2 spot
Mm-hmm.
and gets Travis Hunter. If you knew that there was a continuous slide of Shador,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm Cleveland, I would have stayed at number 2 and just drafted Travis. And then I would have been like, you know what? Shador's sliding. We can just make this into a great story of Colorado Buffaloes coming to Cleveland Browns. I mean,
And sell some tickets.
and sell some. I mean, yeah. And
That was the perfect setup, Jason,
that was a perfect setup, man.
because all these teams knew that if they didn't grade Shador at a first round pick after everyone was mocking him in the first round, and Cleveland was sitting there with 2 picks at the start of the second round, that was from a sales standpoint and publicity standpoint, that would have been a huge move for Cleveland because they need all the good publicity they can get.
Yeah.
With all the stuff that's going on with Deshaun Watson and just their franchise in general. So it could have been a nice shot in the arm, so to speak, to get them moving in the right direction and at least give them some belief in for the upcoming seasons or future, I should say.
So the Browns in the first round, they draft back. They get Mason Graham, defensive tackle from Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go into the second round, and in the second round, you get Quinton Judkins, running back from Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
And that's their second round. Browns, you had an opportunity here, man. You had an opportunity, even in the third round. Let's see who the Browns picked up in the third round, Danny.
Even though Deion said what he said about not going to the Browns, if they take Travis Hunter, Shador is going to want to go there.
He's going to want to go there.
I think the other thing, too, is a lot of these coaches are on the hot seat, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Deion also made the comment that he would go pro or coach pro ball if he coaches son. So it was a lot with some of this. Like I said, it's all kind of circled around Deion more than Shador, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas all right, so we take his son, I get fired, Deion's coming in and take my job.
I'm putting myself on the chopping block.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because there aren't that many coaches that aren't on the hot seat.
Yeah.
Especially with these bad teams that had a lot of picks in this draft. But I thought the Steelers and Raiders for sure were gonna take them, and I thought
Steelers were. Yeah, I thought Steelers were.
Mm-hmm. And they didn't. So who knows, man? Because they picked Dylan Gabriel Was that third round?
Yeah. Yep.
That's a rookie quarterback. I have no idea what Cleveland was doing because they picked 2 running backs, 2 quarterbacks, and then you got Flacco there, you got Deshaun Watson still there, and you have Kenny Pickett.
Well, I'll put it like this: they're gonna drop Deshaun Watson. I think they're gonna buy out the deal here. Joe Flacco, Joe be back up.
Mm-hmm. But they're gonna keep 4 quarterbacks. Somebody getting traded.
Somebody getting traded. I think Pickett get traded. Or something's gonna have to pick it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just keep the 3 quarterbacks.
Or do they trade Gabriel or Sanders? Because there's 2 rookies coming in.
It's good draft capital.
It's kind of like, was it RG3 and Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, because I mean, look, it's a 3rd and a 5th round pick.
Mm-hmm.
It's a value pick, quote unquote. So,
yeah,
if one doesn't work out,
yeah. So it's going to be an interesting offseason. Falcons had an interesting draft. Your Packers had an interesting draft.
Yes, Golden got drafted wide receiver in the 1st round. Are you kidding me? Listen, when I saw that, I was like, you know what? This is pretty dope. The whole pomp and circumstance of him getting drafted, fans yelling "Go Pack, go!" as he walk in. Matthew Golden as he walks down. Now he still has to get the whole "Go Pack, go" piece there because he said on 3, give me Green Bay basically, but we're talking about Matthew Golden who runs a 4.29 40.
Mm-hmm.
We've been needing that type of speed. And this goes well because obviously Christian Watson has a torn ACL.
Yep.
It's going to be out the majority of the season. But I think it also puts the onus on the rest of the wide receiving room. We led the league in drop passes last year. And this is putting all the wide receivers on notice. Also in the 3rd round, Savion Williams from TCU, he gets drafted, another wide receiver. Packers weren't playing, man. But offensive tackle in the 2nd round, I mean, really building out the offense here, which was actually a surprise to me. I thought they would focus a little bit more on the defensive side, which historically has been the marker here for the Packers. But here we are. What say you about your Falcons?
Falcons focused on defense. The questionable move of the draft for the Falcons was moving up into the 1st round to take James Pierce Jr., defensive end from Tennessee, where they actually gave up a number 1 pick for next year to the Rams. And I thought that was a little risky considering you don't know what next year looks like. Why would you give up a number 1 pick? I thought it was a lot of draft capital to give up for him. But they did go to an edge rusher with Jalen Walker as well in the 1st round, and then they picked up 2 safeties. So I thought they did well from the defensive standpoint. And then they also picked up Jack Nelson from Wisconsin Badgers from the offensive line perspective. Great draft, but that James Pierce Jr. draft capital was a little rich for me.
Thank you for joining us at BackPorchTalk Podcast. You can also join us on Twitter by tweeting us at @back_podcast. For more information, you can go to our website, which is BackPorchTalkPodcast.com. You can also email us at BackPorchTalkPodcast@gmail.com. Again, thank you for joining us, and remember that there's enough hate in the world, so go ahead and spread a little love.